To another episode of Grown Men 2. Today, we're talking about what's important, the election. Y'all ready?
Stay ready.
Let's go.
Stay ready.
All right. So on the docket today is going to be, does it really matter if we vote? And when I'm saying we, I mean the Black community. Does it really matter if we vote?
You want to go first, Eric?
I'm gonna stay quiet.
Okay.
Or
Hell yes, it matters. Not just yes, not maybe so. Hell yes, it matters. And the reason why I say that is just the more voices you have out there, the more you can't kind of brushed to the side. I think maybe in the presidency, it's not so much. Everybody does a great job of coming out and voting for the president. Like that's the only thing that matters. I personally wish we would vote like at every single level, way more. For me, the local levels matter more. And actually, the thing I'm most passionate about when it comes to voting is voting for the people who run your schools, your school districts.
Yeah.
If you look across this country, they don't teach people the right things. There's people. I mean, I think Byron, you might have shared this with me. I think, or it might have been Jarrell, but I heard a story from someone who grew up in Tulsa or from Tulsa and didn't know about Black Wall Street, and they lived their entire life in Tulsa. I heard that story from somebody. I don't know where that came from. I'm gonna have to fact check myself, but they had to go. They went off to college and found that out in college out of state, and that's bananas to me. They leave so much stuff out of history. They try to say stupid stuff. The family show, so I'm gonna try to edit myself a little bit. Like some of the masters treated the slaves super great, and some of the slaves, they liked it, and they got to stay on board. They had a great relationship. Oh, for real. So like for me, I'm like, that's what I care about. I care about judges, and I care about school districts. My belief is if those are the two places that are going to affect your population the most, right? And if you take care of that, and then you'll naturally just vote at all levels. So yeah. I definitely think it matters. I think there's something else that you might get to a little bit later, but I think it also matters because you can see the diversity of the Black vote.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say that yet. I'll still hold my words.
But yeah, I 100% it matters without a shadow of a doubt in my mind.
What about you, Dante?
Yes, I'm on the same. I'm in the same boat as Eric. I believe that it definitely matters, and
she thinks it matters too, don't she?
She sure do. Mm-hmm.
Does voting matter? Mm-hmm. Say yes.
It does. It does, doesn't it? It does.
All right. So yes, it definitely matters, and I believe that.
Did you lose audio?
No, he muted himself again. She immediately started acting up. I love it, man.
Oh,
I love it.
So she enjoy it?
Go to mommy got something for you. Woo! All right. Yes, so it matters. And I think, like Eric said, I think it matters more so on the local level. We do, like you said, we do a really good job of going out and voting for the next president, but we don't do a good job of voting for the next governor, the next mayor, even in, like you said, the school system. And I think that's what matters the most. However, I do understand why people say that it doesn't, because people vote. But then what happens is, this is a problem, I think, with a lot of people. We vote, and then we're like, okay, I put my vote in. The person I voted for, they won. So now I'm just gonna sit back and everything he said or everything she said, they're gonna do it, and we just sit back, and then the next 4 years go by, and like, oh, they didn't do anything we wanted,
Right.
and then so then now it's like, oh, the voting, it doesn't matter. But I think that once you vote, now we have to even take it a step further. So now we have to hit them up. Hey, you say you're gonna be doing this. What's good? I ain't seen it yet. You already been in office for whatever the first 30 days.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, and we have to continue to be on them and continue to hit them up, and especially when we are, when we voted, even if you didn't vote for the person, I think we should still be doing that. So right now, like, a lot of people don't like Trump, and they didn't vote for Trump. However, we should be hitting them up, because at the end of the day, he's still our president, or he's still the president of the United States. So we should be hitting their office up. Hey, what's going on? We need this done. And then now, if we would have been doing that for the last 4 years, so now if he hasn't been doing nothing, we've been hitting him up. Guess what? Now it's time to get reelected. Guess what? Your butt getting out of there, because we've been hitting you up. You haven't been responding. You haven't taken any initiative or any actions. And so now you can't come out and say, oh, I am for these people because this, and that. No, you're not, because we've been hitting you up. We've been, trying to get in contact with you, and you haven't. And I think that's why a lot of people feel that, voting doesn't matter, because we vote, and then they just automatically assume the people that get into power, they're going to do exactly what they say. But we have to hold them accountable, just like we try to hold police officers accountable for their jobs. And I think we don't do a good enough job of that.
Yeah. So my viewpoint is a little different, because I want to believe that voting matters, especially our vote. But I think it's just a numbers thing when it comes to Black America, and not all the time, but just in more cases of it. Now, when it comes to local elections, yeah, we do have a bigger say so. But if we look at the candidates, most of the time, the candidates don't have enough information out there to even understand who they are, because we don't get the same. They don't have the same campaigning as they would for the primaries, where some senators or some the president itself, trying to go and market themselves. So what happens is, I think we become voting exhausted, and we wait for every 4 years because it's easier. Local elections happen a little bit more often, and sometimes when we have these local elections, we go by hearsay. We think that this person's good because maybe they said something nice to you or said something nice about a group of people, and then we carry on as if they're for the people, and they can be just as corrupt as anybody.
Right.
Right.
And I think in a sense of this, when it comes to presidential elections, we know that popular vote doesn't matter.
Yep.
It's electoral vote. So at that moment, we should already know that there's somebody or another group of people who we don't really know of, have another agenda in their mind about who's going to get the votes and how it works. And I know the Electoral College is a little different, how they structure the votes and stuff like that. But in a democracy, you would think that the popular vote gets the actual win.
Yeah.
So my thing is this: if a person like Trump or Biden campaigns in states that matter to their voting, then they're not campaigning for people. And let's think of this: Biden then go campaign in the middle of Chicago. You get what I'm saying? They didn't go campaign in the middle of Atlanta. They may have talked about Atlanta or talked to people in Atlanta, but they didn't go campaign in the middle of Atlanta where people look like us. Maybe now because of your friend, but But in theory, you think about it. They go to places like Iowa and Oklahoma and
Yeah.
those states because they have more. They know their bases, and I understand the politics of it. I understand the marketing strategy of it, but it's not business as usual when it comes to human lives. To me, and that's my viewpoint. It should be policy should be secondary to versus how humans need to be interacted with. You know what I'm saying? I don't know these people. I mean, we can sit here and say Joe Biden's a great president. He's going to be a great president because he's going to be better than Trump. But I don't know that.
Well, I'll say that right now.
No, I'm just saying we can. What I'm saying is we can say that because how we feel about Trump. But what I'm saying is the thing is this: we don't know enough about Joe Biden personally, just like we don't know about anybody personally. And that's the thing about it. They say these things, and then they get behind the doors, and nothing happens years later, and we still support them the next term if they run again.
Well, hold on. I think if this was a normal kind of election cycle, I might let you ride with that a little bit.
Well, I'm not talking about just Biden and Trump. This just happens to be a unique situation, so I'm using them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Put like this. Oh, let's go this. Obama went against Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
Obama went against Senator McCain.
Yeah.
I was pro Senator McCain over Obama when Obama was president. Obama was there.
How dare you?
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I knew nothing about Obama. I had policy on Senator McCain, and Senator McCain, believe it or not, was less Republican than most Republican. But he had core values that he believed in. Now, once I heard Obama's speech and saw the color of his skin and everything like that, yeah, I chose him over that. I ain't gonna sit there and be funny about it because I chose because I figured we've had how many other presidents that failed us?
Yeah.
So why don't I choose someone who looks like me? And if he fails us, he fails us. I mean, it's no different, but at least I know history has been made. With with Biden and Trump, I mean, it's like policy over what?
Well, okay, there's a couple things you said I wanted to get after. They don't go to Atlanta because there's no electoral way they're going to get that vote, right? And the way it's structured right now, it doesn't make sense. Like if you're looking at the pure economics of trying to win an election, I'm not mad at them. That's the system, right? You go to where you can actually get those votes. I will say what's changing, and I think 3 or 4 states this election that was not the case in 2016, which is a big deal. There are some states that do not require your delegates or even your super delegates to go with the way your popular vote has changed.
Yeah.
In Washington State, Washington State Supreme Court just ruled that they can penalize those people and they can take away their ability to be a delegate or a super delegate in the future if you don't go with the will of the people. And several states have passed things like that. So we won't have that situation that we had in 2016, right? Because to your point, they heard the point you just made and they're like, nah, let's fix that. So I'm happy to see that stuff coming into effect. So yeah, like to a certain degree, it makes sense, right? Like you have to balance against the popular vote, because if you don't balance against the popular vote, then people in really small states like New Hampshire, you're not going to get a damn thing. Okay. Like, so we got it somehow. But I think you should, as a super delegate or delegate, you should be required to go with the will of your popular vote. That's my view. Plus we know it's gerrymandered up the wazoo.
Yeah.
And and I'm gonna be real, like Democrats did it too. They did it too. But I think you hit and actually I think Dante spoke to this too. Like I heard a powerful quote a while back that says most people are not actually engaged in politics. Changing things and actually having
wine.
What's up?
Froze.
I froze.
You froze.
Yeah, couldn't hear you.
When you got to your quote, you froze.
Oh dang! Am I back now?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the CIA trying to shut me down. This brother.
When you said that quote, you said You said most people.
Oh, dang. My bad. Well, what I was going to say is most of us are not actually involved in politics. Like we view politics like a hobby. Like we read journalism.
Yeah.
We watch TV shows, but we're not doing what Dante talked about, which is pounding the pavement, writing those letters, making those phone calls, talking to our officials, right? Because I promise you, everything changes once they hear that.
Yeah.
Like once they know their actual base and their constituency will vote them out, they start to act so much differently. And that's what we don't do. And I think we need to go back to some of those, to some of those days where we were more involved and we kept tabs on our local officials,
And that makes me want to bring up what is taking place now. And I wasn't going to bring it up to the end, but it kind of transitions because of what happened in the interview that he did. All right, so everyone knows, or at least some people know, Ice Cube had his CWBA, contract with Black American. He talked about it months before he got it done. He talked about what he was going to do as soon as he finished it, and he did exactly what he was going to do. However, people of color, Black people or whoever, are trying to cancel him because he talked to what they deem as the enemy side. And I know you guys have some feelings about it, and that's good. That's good because that says a lot that I'm going to go and transition into also about the politics of the situation. I've always asked this question. Everyone who doesn't like Trump, because I'm not a Trump fan at all, don't like him as far as for his presidency and stuff like that. I don't know why he's president, but it is what it is. But no one can tell me what policies they don't like about him.
About Trump?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When people, no, you probably can. A few people can. But most people, when I say, oh, we need to get him out and get Joe Biden in, tell me what the policy is. Tell me what the policy that really bothers you that makes you want to get him out. Because what I mean is this. I'm not talking about him talking about a policy or talking about what he's going to do. Yeah. I'm talking about a policy that he's actually enacting.
Yes, sir.
That's there. So then when there's people that can talk about that, then that's a conversation. Now I get what you're understand. I understand what you're saying. That makes sense. But when you tell me it's the lesser of two evils, he's this, and this, he's causing this. He ain't causing racism. He's not causing a divide. People were already racist.
Wait.
Let me finish.
Hold on, Byron. This man is causing racism.
Hold on. Byron. Let me finish.
All right.
I want you to listen to the words and not what the whole picture of it is. He's not causing racism because racism was already there.
Yes.
He's causing racist people to be more vocal than anything. That's all he's causing them to do. They were already racist.
Yes.
They've been racist. And because you don't become racist like that.
You do.
No, I'm saying you don't all of a sudden you're like, I'm listening to Trump and he said something, and then all of a sudden I'm going to agree with that particular situation. No, you've already had it embedded in your mind.
I disagree with you.
Okay, and we can go back with that. But what I believe is that it's already somewhere embedded in your psyche or your conscious that you have a prejudice against a group of people or something, and then he says something that because he's your president, because you agree with whatever policy he said he was going to enforce.
Yeah.
But then the thing is this. I have no issue with you going against Trump. I have no issue because I don't care for Trump or Biden. I have no issue with that. But if you're going to say we got to vote for Biden, you can't say that every Black person has to vote for Biden because you choose to do it because you're in your feelings about it. Give me a reason to support your narrative. Just like I want somebody, I can't make someone vote for Biden on my viewpoint. That's an emotion. That's all I'm asking. Tell me what thing you did. Because I don't want you to vote for Biden or Trump. I want you to vote for my girl.
You got a high bar, Byron. You got a high bar.
I want you to vote for Joe Jorgensen. And the reason why I want Joe Jorgensen is because instead of taking the this or that road, she's taking this. Let's move the government out of people's lives more. That way people can live the life that they need to live. Let's stop having regulation on top of regulation. That's less government. Republicans talk about less government all the time until it comes to what they need. Think about it. Democrats take more government. Republicans say less government, but yet,
unfortunately, because people are greedy.
but at every chance, it's always the intertwining of those two. So let me ask you this question,
Hit
and this is what, and I'll leave it at this. When that one girl who was Republican, I think she's a black girl. What's her name? Anyway, she was walking down in Maryland, in Baltimore, I think it was.
Kim Classic.
Okay, and this is what just made me just want to just snap. She walked down a town or an area that was abandoned, and she blames it on the Democrats, right? This is me as a human being. If I see something wrong with this area and I'm able to help this area, why don't I help?
Yes.
If a Republican sees that a Democrat in America is not doing the job for a place in America, why do they sit back with their arms closed to point fingers that is not them doing it versus going out and doing something about it?
Yes, sir.
That's my thing. If America's supposed to be United States, and all this stuff really matters, why do we divide everything between if a Republican did it, I don't want to deal with it. If a Democrat did, I don't want to deal with it. And that's why I have an issue with the voting part of it, because we're only voting for two parties. We're only voting for a right or left. I think it should be a third party. It should be a third party introduced in there at least. And I know there's more parties, but what I'm saying, a major third party to make them not have no situation where they can ever be one in control and back and forth. They're playing ping pong.
I got the answer for that. Ranked choice voting will put that issue to bed. It will allow even more than three parties to exist, because everyone is always in play, right? It's not this kind of, like what we have right now is called a plurality. It's not actually a majority.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone thinks. So if we went to ranked choice voting, that would solve that. But you said a couple, man, you got me worked up. There was a couple things that I wanted to get back to. Like, I guess this was the main one, because you talked about, like, I don't want someone to come at me with an emotional argument for your person. Tell me why, Trump is really bad, or give me some real policy things, right? And that's, to me, a president doesn't actually set policy, right? That's kind of number one. Yeah, he's a figurehead in that regard, right? Yes, he can veto. Yes, he can do executive orders, but at the end of the day, that's not his job. That's Congress. That's the Senate. They're the one who set policy. They're the one who really going to change the nation. So, and if you go back, all these people who love the Constitution, right? And they ride with the Constitution. We look like we lost Dante for a second here. But I'll keep on. What do they like about it? The biggest thing about the president is he's supposed to have, like, the moral compass of the country. So I do think, to some degree, talking about someone from an emotional standpoint, their behavior, their morality, their ethics, I think it's okay. I
have no issue with that.
I do agree with you that, like, if you're trying to persuade me, maybe you should bring a little bit more bacon to the conversation.
That's what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is this: to get me to vote for your guy, you can't tell me that because he's bad. He's a bad man. We know that. But the thing is this: the other guy's bad too. You know what I'm saying? What makes him good?
No.
Okay.
Do we need
to pull up his bill?
What bill?
Joe Biden.
What bill?
Okay. I should share this.
What bill are we referring to?
Well, it's his criminal foreign bill.
Okay, you're talking about from, like.
It doesn't matter. He's not retracted from it. He's never decided to retract from it.
Bet.
I don't disagree. I'm not trying to say he's perfect.
No, and that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is this: if there was no other candidates and it was between Biden and Trump, then I would say, okay, Biden.
Yeah, but you're throwing away your vote for a third party in the current system.
I'm not throwing away my vote. I'm voting for someone who I morally feel okay to vote for.
You're making a protest vote.
No, it's not a protest, because before this, okay, Biden had no one who he was going to run with until George Floyd. Then he figured because it probably would have been Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah. And I look, honestly, personally, I'm ride or die for Elizabeth Warren. Like
Elizabeth Warren, I would have been.
girl.
I would have rather her have been president
Yeah.
than Biden.
I
So
agree
when
with
Biden, so when they said Biden chose Miss Harris, I'm sitting there like, now I'm all for the history of it. I'm all for the making of the history. I'm going pro. You can't talk about it personally. You can talk about her policies. You can't
Right.
talk about it personally. But at the end of the day, let's be real. This lady was hardcore calling Biden everything. How you
Yeah.
gonna work? You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a game of politics. I know that's what they do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're one and the same. They are one and the same. So they make a good pair.
They
Top
are.
cop.
She's a cop. She's a top cop.
Cop.
She'll
She's
throw
a-
the book at you.
She
And
throw
she
the book
did.
at you.
There's a lot of black people in jail
And you
because
know
of her.
what? I have no issue with criminal like laws and regulations that cause people to go to jail for periods of time when it's fair. You know what I'm saying? When
Yeah,
it's
but
fair.
we know it's not fair.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying.
But that's not on her. That's the whole system.
But see, she still could have.
She could have did something.
She could have stopped what she was doing. And I understand this. At
I
the
get
time she's at her point in time and working, you ain't finna go against the buck when you got to pay your bills.
But you
So-
know what? We have an opportunity.